Probably one of the biggest ones was when I was hit by a pickup truck, a Hilux. It hit me in Panama. I got hit. I fell down and luckily wasn't injured. But the guy, he like said, "Hey, you damaged my truck." I'm like, "Dude, you hit me." He's like, "Well, you damaged my truck." I'm like, "No, but you hit me. You were in the wrongs." And the guy demanded the money for the repairs immediately.
So welcome back. If you haven't watched part one yet, Eric rode a motorbike from Minnesota in the US to Florianopolis over 3.5 years. We covered the route, the real cost of living here in South America. He ate in Bolivia for $1.40 a meal, and the Colombian police officer who impounded his bike mid-conversation at the traffic lights. Link is in the description. We've just come onto the roof of Oka, where the co-working is, where we've done the interview, just to show you a little bit of the south of the island. As you can see there in the background, we've got the beautiful mountains of Ribeirão. I suppose traveling for 3 years solo on a motorbike can be as much psychological as a physical endurance test, because I'd find that pretty lonely if that was me. How have you coped with that? What's been the toughest moments for you? When have you felt like calling it quits at all?
Yeah, those are good questions. I had already been a digital nomad before the motorcycle trip, so I basically knew what I would be getting into. The difference is that with this trip, I'm actually doing a lot of recording, editing, planning for my videos, for my channel. So that does kind of add a bit more of a loneliness element because I spend so much time working. I'm working more now than when I was a digital nomad without my channel.
Yeah.
Without my channel, I would go out and explore. I would meet people on couch surfing. I would meet people on Facebook, meet people just wherever the tourists would go, just go out and try and mingle. And I didn't have my bike, so I didn't have to worry about like driving back home. So when you add the bike, where you have to be a responsible driver and not drink and drive, and then when you add the channel, it's actually been quite a bit more lonely in that respect. But I've already I knew what to expect. I knew this would happen. And I have a girlfriend now as well. So having her to talk to every single day, we chat on WhatsApp, and she's actually really helping me with my channel.
Nice.
She's like my project manager. That's what her job was for in the past.
Your right-hand lady.
Yeah, she's the right-hand lady. So it's trying to balance out how lonely it is, because sometimes I don't know, every country I go to, I don't know anyone pretty much anywhere.
You're doing interviews with
so I meet people
like,
as I go,
myself.
and I meet really awesome people like yourself. So that's part of the thing that makes my experience unique and also like really fun, because I am meeting people, but they're just not the typical tourist you would meet.
So did you know also here in Brazil that the drink drive limit is absolute zero?
Yeah, it's zero tolerance.
Yeah. So that's something I didn't realize until I got here, because for the first 6 months I was driving around with just one beer. And then my lawyer told me, you do know that if you have one beer and they pull you over, that's in the clink job. But I think they would probably let you go, but yeah, just something to be aware of.
That's actually the same thing in Colombia. So I knew about that. Yeah, Colombia and Brazil, they're very unique countries because both countries have like no restrictions for drinking. You can drink in public anywhere at any time. But they also say zero tolerance when driving, which makes sense. I mean, if they let you drink anywhere at any time, make sure you don't drive.
I think that they've got the priorities right.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Especially for someone like yourself who's like in a vulnerable position on your bike.
Exactly.
Because
Brazilians
I think they
adhere to it. I think they probably drink pretty regularly, especially on weekends. So I tend to not try and go out on weekends just to survive this entire experience.
That's some really good advice right there. What would you class as your toughest moment so far when you felt like calling it quits?
There's been a lot of those, like uncountable, but probably one of the biggest ones was when I was hit by a pickup truck, a Hilux. It hit me in Panama, like a couple days before I was shipping my bike over to Bogota by the cargo plane. And I got hit. I fell down and luckily wasn't injured. But the guy, he like said, "Hey, you damaged my truck." I'm like, "Dude, you hit me. Well, you damaged my truck." I'm like, "No, but you hit me. You were in the wrongs." And long story short, my bike wouldn't start after that. And the guy demanded the money for the repairs immediately. And I said, "I have full coverage with my insurance." In Panama, you're required to buy insurance, and it was full coverage. And I'm like, "Dude, I got full coverage. We have to wait for the court system." And no, it was just a whole pain in the ass. It was just like, my car, my truck. I'm like, he was doing something illegal. And told me it was my fault. So anyway, long story short, that was a big expense because I ended up paying him $150 to repair his truck for hitting me. And then I had to like figure out how to get my bike back home because I was 2 hours away. And then I had to figure out how to get my bike to the airport because my bike wasn't starting. I sent it over to Colombia, where the motorcycle mechanics are phenomenal everywhere in the country. They're some of the best in Latin America. It's like the motorbike capital, I'd say, of all Latin America is Colombia. So in Bogota, phenomenal mechanics, and they figured it out. They took her completely apart.
Trustworthy? Did they not try and rip you off or anything like that?
No. Give me a great price. They took the bike completely apart. I watched them the entire time because I was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I watched 4 mechanics struggle with this. Like, how do you guys know? And they just took it apart and like cleaned out the parts. I was like, all right, it's good now. They're just amazing. Charged a couple $100 and I was on my way.
That little story right there just goes to show that you do have to remember that not everyone's a criminal. Not everyone's in the cartel. Not everyone's a gang member down here. Like majority of people in Latin America are just trying to get by. They go home to their families at the end of the day, and they're good people.
The guy that was doing the mechanic work for me, he was so friendly. Like, they would invite me. They were working on my bike for like 2 or 3 days, and I would go and check out like their progress. And he'd be like, hey, we're gonna take a break, come out. And he would buy me coffee. I'm like, dude, they tried to buy me food and coffee and stuff. Like, dude, what? You're doing a service for me. I'm so happy to have you, amazing mechanics. And they wouldn't let me pay him. I give them money for what they would kept on me buying me drinks and food. I'm like, this is so above and beyond amazing service and just overall friendliness, right?
My wife will enjoy hearing this part.
The humanity in Colombia, just like the people there are just amazing.
Here's a great question for you. Who is the friendliest people, the warmest people, who's the most honest, who is the most hospitable people that you've come across on your travels?
All people in Latin America are very friendly. The way that they show it is different. So that's why I think Colombia and Brazil are similar in that respect, because they're very extroverted, right? They show things very, very clearly.
They wear their heart on their sleeve.
They wear their heart on their sleeve. They show it. They're there. They're grabbing you. They're very physical. And that's not the same in other countries. Ecuador, where it's more, when you find more indigenous culture, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, even Chile, the easiest people to identify for being friendly are the Colombians and Brazilians.
From what I understand, speaking to Brazilians, especially from, like, say, Recife, the northern parts, they'll say that people down here in Santa Catarina, in the south, are cold. They're not very friendly. But, like, for me, comparing them to, like, English people or to Americans or whatever, like, they're a lot warmer. I agree with you, totally. Colombians are probably some of the nicest people that I've met in the entire world, up there with Filipinos, so nice. Brazilians so far have been absolutely amazing, and I'm talking about the Brazilians I've met here in the south of so what are the ones like in the north? Are they even friendlier than here? Do you know what I'm saying? So
they are pretty insanely friendly. When I studied in Bahia, I would like ride the bus and some guy would be like, hey, you're a foreigner, and just start chatting with me, like, give me your WhatsApp, let's go to the beach this weekend.
If somebody's watching this right now and they're thinking of doing something similar, doesn't have to be on a motorbike. It could just be like backpacking around South America, doing it in a car, doing it on the bus, whatever. But they have something that's stopping them. What would you say that one thing might be and what they should do about it?
Everyone's like thing that's anchoring them to home or wherever they are, it's always going to be different, right? So it could be school, it could be your family, it could be your job. There's a million different situations, but I guess I could answer it by saying what you can do to do this trip in order to like make it, especially if it's a long-term thing. People come down to Latin America and they backpack on vacation for 3 months, 6 months. I mean, if you save up, Latin America is very cheap. First of all, before you leave, you need to make sure you have a job, right? We were talking about that before.
100%.
You need to make sure you have income, because you're not going to like try and start traveling and then try and figure out your job after. You have to figure that out first. And I had that already arranged before I started doing my stuff. So that's what I would say. That would be the first thing to do.
Something I'll add to that as well is that you can make money online easier than you think. Like myself, for example, I'm in the construction industry, in mechanical and electrical. It's not very sexy, but I can make such good money in it through my laptop consultancy, because I'm an expert in that field, right? And my point is, there's always a way you can make money by selling to other business owners of those industries.
I think a good point you're mentioning is that people like around our age, especially I'm 37, you're 40.
40.
People in their 40s especially, you're going to have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and consulting is a great way to make money abroad. So like selling your advice and giving suggestions and giving solutions.
Audits.
audits, doing whatever you're good at while abroad is a great way to have some type of income. Now, making that stable is probably the thing that you want to make sure that it's ready for before you leave.
Yeah, definitely. Being on the road for 4 years?
3.5 right now.
3.5 years?
Yeah.
How have you changed from the Eric that left Minnesota to the Eric that is standing beside me now in Florianópolis, Brazil?
Since 2018, I've had a digital nomad lifestyle, and I've been living abroad like basically continuously since 2012. So I've always been kind of adventurous and stuff, but now that I'm 37, I'm thinking, okay, I'm glad I'm doing this motorcycle trip at this age, because as you get older, you have the family that will not pretty much allow that to happen. That won't even allow it. Yes, not even permitted in that situation. This is the right time to do it. But I'm thinking the amount that I'm changing countries, the places I'm going to, it's an amazing experience, but it's so incredibly tiring. So I'm learning a lot about how it is to really make living abroad more comfortable. And that is spending longer times in the places that I like more. Because when I change places, like I've been changing cities every month, and that's really, really tiring. So that's kind of one of the big things I'm learning is that, yeah, I need to be basically finding my base, especially after I finish this entire project.
What does life look like after all this traveling? You're not going to spend your whole life on a motorbike, no? When are you going to sell that motorbike? Or will you?
The plan is I want to cover the rest of Latin America on my channel. My plan since the beginning was I'm going to live in every mainland Latin American country. I'm going to spend significant amounts of time in each one of those, document what my life is like, and then get people to talk about their life, for example, for yours, in your situation, which is awesome, a family situation, which is, very useful, very good, important information, and share their stories. I have Uruguay next, then I have Argentina, I'm going up to Paraguay after that, back to Bolivia, down to Chile, and then I'll be going down to Ushuaia, back to Brazil. I'll spend 6 months there. This will probably take me another 2.5 years to finish all this. I'll probably finish 2028. And then at that point, I'm just going to sit down, take a hard look at what I've done, and say, is it worth it to continue with the channel? Yes or no?
And what a time to be alive, because even 10 years ago, you couldn't have made a good living from doing what you're doing now. When you just said, I'm going to be away for another 3 years, like, oh, I'd love to do that. Can't I just ditch my family for a year or something and just like come with you? Is that okay?
They could, but they'd be pretty pissed off.
Do you think they'll still be here when I come back? Probably not. Okay, Eric, thank you so much for your time, your input, everything else, and I wish you the best of luck on your travels. Stay safe. We'll see you in the next one.
See you en la silla. Hasta la próxima. Or até a próxima in Portuguese.
Ciao, ciao. There he goes. Like the wind. Ushuaia.